We've all been brought up on fantastic tales of Lemuria. Some people call it Mu. Others call it Atlantis. Some say Atlantis is a colony of Lemuria. But in this video, I found something that I could connect. Connect Rome, the number 33, and we know that is heavenly Masonic. But why? Why is it so divine to them? Why is it? What is the significance of this 33? And we're going to tie that with a Roman festival called Lemuria, a night of beans, bones, and black magic. Yeah, you got that right. Why is a festival to the dead in Rome named after the magical island of Lemuria? So could this Lemuria festival be a tribute to the ancestors who came from the island of Lemuria, Mu, Atlantis? It is a what if and a big question, but it's strange that it's got the same name. And the Lemuria festival is a festival for the dead. It's held on May the 9th, the 11th and the 13th, and on those nights the festival, the dead ancestors, the ghosts, the Lemures, would visit their relatives. Some people think that the festival started as a way of showing what Romulus did to his brother Remus, but I believe they are paying homage. They are scared of their ancestors. It's just strange because we've all been brought up in images like this of islands, mythical islands, even real islands like Santorini and different things, going down to huge tidal waves, shows of power. Could this festival be to the ancient ancestors, the Lemurians? So I've just talked about a big what if question. It seems strange to me that the Romans, and we know they are like leeches, they take and absorb most cultures. Now, what if this festival, the festival of the dead, Lemuria, what if this was to appease the spirits, the dead, the ancestors who came from Lemuria? It just seems strange that it's got the same name. Now, there's not just this that I'm talking about, there's other links, hence the title being quite varied. I just find it very, very interesting that this huge what if, I was talking about what if the island got destroyed in a huge, apocalyptic type of event, tsunamis, earthquakes, fire from the skies, as it said. I mean, we've all been brought up on films and different theories to what happened to Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu, and there's loads of mythical islands all around this realm. But when I talk about this in this video, talking about could the Lemurians have sailed outwards to the four corners of this realm and then repopulated different parts of this realm, it would make sense. I'm not saying it's 100% fact. I can't prove nothing. I'm just theorising. Now, this person, I don't know if it's actually this person or this was just typed or stamped, but this says it's from the file of a James F. Queen, artist, 1824-1889. Now, he has done a hypothetical sketch of the monolithic origin and the diffusion of the 12 varieties of men from Lemuria over the earth. Basically, what I've just been talking about. So he's drawn this, and as you can see, there is Lemuria there, and it has numbers everywhere, paradise, and all names of countries and origins. Now I'll read a few out just to show you. Obviously I found it very, very interesting that what I was just talking about, and someone in the 19th century has drew a hypothetical sketch. Now different races are at the bottom, and obviously that correlates to wherever they are in this realm. For instance, number 1, Papuans. I'm assuming it's Papua New Guineans and that type of ethnicity and culture, and you can see them number 1, dotted about New Guinea, Papua New Guinea, all around this area. Come back out, you have the Hottentots, which I believe are South African nomads, hence why they're in South Africa. You had, can I move it across in this? No, you can't. You have number 3, the Caffreys or Cafres, and they are Mozambique area of South Africa or Africa. There you go, through the stretches. And number 4 are Negroes, obviously from the black ethnicity, and they're in obviously on the map. Let's have a look. Number 4, there you go, from the Sahara type of way. I'm assuming that's the Sahara. Obviously this is an old just sketch diagram. You then had Australians, which would be Australians. You have the Malayans, I'm guessing from Malaysia. You have Mongolians, and then what's interesting, you have the Arctics, and on the Arctics is number 8, and here you have Hyperboreans being drawn down, number 8, and you have Eskimomax, which are the Eskimos. Just found that interesting. And you have Americans, self-explanatory, number 9 are South Americans. You then have the Dravidians, which are South Asia, and they are number 10. Let's see if we can on the map. I think that's them there. Yeah, you go. There's the 10. I just found it interesting that this guy has done what I was just basically talking about. The Nubians, which are from Sudan and Lower Egypt. Where is number 11 on it? There you go. And number 12, the Mediterraneans, which would be who I'm talking about, Italy and the Mediterraneans. So this person's theorising what I've just said. Does it mean it's right? No, it doesn't. I just found it very, very interesting. Now on this, it has first ruling race and second ruling race drew at the top. Now I'll read these out. First ruling race, Mediterraneans, the 4 divisions. Semitic, which are from Semites, come from Shem, Basque, Caucasian and Indo-Germanic. Obviously these are from the 12 tribes. That's what I'm assuming. And on the second ruling race, I'm just getting out of that. I want to get it spot in the middle. Doesn't want to do it. There we go. Second ruling race, Mongolians, 4 divisions, Indo-Chinese, Korea, Japanese, Alanian, and what's that? Uralian. I'm assuming that's the Urals and Russia and whatnot. I just found it very interesting. And I have to share with you because obviously I'm just talking about how I'm theorising. That's why they are doing this festival, to appease the ancient spirits of the dead. I want to show you a few of the things that ties in with a few other things in regard to this festival called Lemuria. But so far, hopefully you're enjoying it. It's going to be a quick video, but it's still going to be a very interesting one. Thank you for watching so far. So let's look at the festival. Ovidus, a Roman poet, called May mensis Maevis, which is derived from Maores, meaning the ancestors. So these ancestors are called Lemures, spirits of the dead, who died young, a violent death, or without funeral rites. So the paterfamilias, the father of the family, would do a ritual, and this is the ritual. So the head of the household would, in the middle of the night, I'll put good guesses on that it would be in the witching hour, but obviously there's no facts for this. In the middle of the night, perform a ritual to appease and banish the dead ancestors. He would walk barefoot, or shoes without no knots. Knots sounds like speed in water, knots. And he would walk around. He would then gesture using the mano fico, which is a fig hand, and I'll show some examples in this now. And it was used against the evil eye, but modern society is using it now as a fuck you sign. So after washing his hands with spring water, he would then avert his head or his face while throwing black beans. At this time he would utter the following charm or the chant 9 times. I cast these beans, and by doing so I redeem my family and myself and my family. He then washes his hands again. He then strikes some bronze pans. Once the spirits have collected their offerings, which are the black beans, it is time to ask them to leave. This is done by saying, "Spirits of the ancestors, get out." And he does this 9 times. Then he would turn his head back around and the ritual is completed. So here's something I find interesting. And what's funny is the Aztec mythical home was called Atlantis. Lemuria, Mu. Now we just talked about black bean ritual in Lemuria. Now another Mexican culture has a dish called pibapolo, and it's an ancient Mayan dish that is traditionally only served during the Day of the Dead holiday. Now we have 2 festivals now. We have Lemuria for the Day of the Dead in Rome, and we have Day of the Dead in Mexico, both having black beans. That cannot be a coincidence. Now we have the festival, as you know, the Mexican Day of the Dead, All Saints Day, November the 1st to 2nd. Well, what's interesting is in 609 AD, Pope Boniface rededicated the Roman Pantheon, the temple of the pagan gods, and he rededicated it to the Christian martyrs, and he made the final day of Lemuria, May the 13th, right, which is the final day, and he renamed it the Day for All Martyrs. Interesting. Now, in 8th century, the Pope Gregory VIII expanded on that to include saints, and he moved 13th of May, All Martyrs, All Saints Day, to November the 1st. A direct connection from Lemuria, the festival for Day of the Dead, to the Mexican Day of the Dead on the 1st of November, both using black bean dishes. One of them they ate and one of them they spat out. I just find that too much of a coincidence. On similar lines, in Japan they have another, not festival, but a tradition. It's called Setsubon, and it's held on the last day of winter. And the tradition is for everyone, but has now become a child favourite. Typically the head of the house used to throw the beans. In others, the father dresses as a demon wearing the mask, and the children throw the beans at it. The bean thrown is called mamamika, and it symbolises purification for the home, and tradition is it cleans and sweeps away the demons. Sounds quite familiar. Sounds like the Lemuria, the festival of Rome. Just had to include that bit because I thought it was just too much to leave out. Right, so you must be asking by now, you said in the title Freemasons 33. How's that connected with Lemuria, Rome? Well, we all know all roads lead to Rome. But to get into Masons, as you can see from the picture above, at each lodge, if you want to get in, you have to be proposed by someone else. Then you have to go through a voting process. And each member would get a vote, a black ball or a white ball, and you put it into the ballot. If you get one black ball, you don't get in. Now, in ancient times, this black ball, that is referred to now is I'm blackballed. That's where the term comes from, blackballed. But in olden times, they used to vote with a black bean and a white bean. Tell me that is no coincidence that we're talking about black beans and white beans in the process of getting rid of demons, casting out people. Well, if you get a black bean in this, you're casting out that person. They do not get to join the lodge. Now you might think that's a big stretch, but as you know, you can see also in Freemasonry they have the black and white checkered floor, and as you can see from the picture above. Now Lemuria, supposedly it got its name from being named after a lemur. So you can see a picture of a lemur here. Please tell me what colour the tail is. Yep, black and white. Just like the checkered floor, just like the bean process of getting voted in. Is it a far stretch? Is it a big stretch? Most probably, but it is just like, wow, what a coincidence, if you can call it that. I just find it no way, really. Lemuria, named after lemurs, black and white tail, and then you have the beans. All seems to tie with the Lemuria festival about casting out demons. And the 33 bit now is coming up. So here's the wow bit for me. the 33. Now, like I always say, it's up to your interpretation, your perspective. You might not see this, you might not agree with it, and that's cool, because this is just what it's all about. But look at the dates. You have 9, you have 11 and 13. That adds to 33. Tell me that's not in your face. And we're talking about this festival. You're seeing the connections now with this festival all around the world. Its implications to Lemuria, and people say that is where we all came from. So if you wanted to make 33 a significant number in Freemasonry, this is what you would do. 9, 11 and 33. That's the festival date in Rome. 9, as you've seen from a previous video, is human immortality. 11 is the pillars, the Freemasonry pillars, Jachin and Boaz, but it's also a gateway. It's Janice's favourite number. It's 11. And 13, Friday the 13th, when so-called all the Templars got executed. Now can you see my point is 33 becomes such a number. Yes, there's all the things about the vertebrae in the spine and all that, and the 3 times 3 is 9. But I've showed you the black bean, I showed you the connection with the tail, and all things lead to Rome in this video. It should just make you go, yeah, I can see what you're saying. I might not agree with it, but I can say it. To me, it's blown my mind away. The 3 days that the festival for the Lemuria festival to honour and cast out the demons is 9, 11 and 13, adds up to 33. Now, I'm not going to talk about this too much, because people, if you talk about this, you generally get took off air. First 2 letters, 9, 11. We know what happened then. And the day they allowed the skies back open so the planes could fly was the 13th. 9, 11 and 13. Is that a coincidence? I'll leave that up to you. So we can pretty much agree, well hopefully, that the tales of Lemuria, Atlantis, Mu, whatever you want to call it, it was basically destroyed and it was covered by water. So isn't it funny that in the Semitic languages, the sign for water, like the Phoenician, the Egyptian, it's called Mem. I'll show you a picture of it here. That is a symbol for Mem. Does that look familiar? Now, I'll give you a few seconds. There you go. Doesn't it remind you of a lemur, especially with the tail? I think so. Now, what's interesting is that the Greeks gave it a symmetrical balance form without the tail. They named it Mu. M-U. Is that not what we've come to perceive now as in your face, hidden in plain sight? The symbol for water, Atlantis, Mu, Lemuria got covered in it. The Semitic languages, the Phoenician, the Egyptians called it Mem, give it a tail. The Greeks changed it to Mu. Mu. Oh my, that is crazy. And then in Latin, it just became M. I just had to include that as a little bit of a tidbit. And what else? Mu. Could it have been a mud flood? You only have to put a D on the end of Mu to get mud. Right, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. And now, my thoughts.
Yeah, they call me the black sheep. You know they call me the black sheep.
Hello and welcome. What I'm going to do, I'm going to briefly talk. There's not going to be much to talk about, but I always do my little thoughts at the end. I was going to do it just a picture, but I just can't be bothered. It doesn't seem right. So even though I'm not at my best, I thought I'll still do this. I'll still soldier on. I'll take one for the team. So I'm taking one for the team. So what can I say about this video? I just found it fascinating. Yeah, it is a what if video, and some people, oh, it's a far stretch and it's a load of bollocks. It could well be. I always say that. I always say take it with a pinch of salt, take what you need from it, because no one knows. All history is a lie, and I'm just theorising in this video, and I'm finding what people are classed as a coincidence, but we know there isn't. So is there any merit to what I say? Who knows? I'll leave that up to you guys. I know there's some people who will be screaming, no, calling me names, but hey, They're really, really big, them guys. They can do it. Them no faces, them no contenters. Crack on, guys. So, the theory behind it, why did I do this video? Well, in the UK, they're talking about, the COVID, and they're on about it's supposedly coming out of lockdown, everything so-called coming back to what normal was. If you want to know what the new normal means, please check out me spell etymology video. I've actually done a video on what the new normal means, the quote, the wording, the spell. Check that out. I'd love to say, hey, check the link out. It pops up on the screen, but I don't know how to do that. So you have this COVID, and the talk is May. So I'm thinking, you know what? These guys love to do festivals, rituals, and it's all about the symbology. Is there anything in May symbolic? So I banged in, into me research, and what I found was the festival of Lemuria, the 9th, the 11th and the 13th. So when I saw that, straight away I went, Lemuria, because I knew it from researching and looking and being intrigued by the story of Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu, because I've done other videos like High Brazil and things like that. So I've always been interested in this topic, as I've said many times on my live videos, on my live streams, the story of me standing up as a little 12-year-old in class saying, I believe we're in Atlantis, not actually an island, but a colony, and this is what this realm was. So as soon as I saw that Lemuria, that's what came to my mind. I thought, why are they naming a festival called Lemuria, and why is it the same as the island, or the continent, or the civilization? And there's all the tales of, yes, we all came from, all the species, all the cultures, all the civilizations, all the races came from that island. That's what people say. So why is it called that? So the more I looked into Lemuria, the festival, I saw it was Day of the Dead. It was a festival for the dead. It was to banish the spirits, the people that died a horrible death or too young. And that sounds to me like they're honouring the ancestors who died in a horrible way, in a great flood, an apocalyptic type of thing, volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, you name it, as the story goes. So that would make sense, wouldn't it? Because they all do festivals throughout the civilizations, cultures, honouring the dead. So I thought, yeah, that's what it's got to be. And then I looked into the festival and how they, did the symbols. That symbol that they did with the hand, whether they use it now, is a swear word of profanity, but in them days it was to ward off the evil eye. And I just showed you a picture of the cherubs in the Sistine Chapel doing the same, because I believe Michelangelo fell out with the Pope, so that's why he put it in his picture. But, who knows? So we had all these gestures, and they're talking of the black beans spin out, the spirits, the evil spirits, used that, as food. They took that as, an offering. And then I thought, well, quickly look, another dead festival. And as soon as I put it in, obviously I knew of Day of the Dead in Mexico, but that was another date. So I'm looking into that and thinking, no way, there's a famous black dish that they eat traditionally on that day, and it contained a black bean, and they've got a black bean here. You know what I mean? So I was thinking, wow, how my brain works. You have to. You can't sit there, oh, that's just a coincidence. 2 festivals for the dead, and have black beans at the heart of the ritual. Then you look into it and find out that 2 popes renamed it from Lemuria on the 13th to All Martyrs, and then the other Pope, Gregory, then changed it from May the 13th to All Saints' Day, which Day of the Dead is on. That was just like, wow. So we have a tie over from Lemuria, from Latin Rome to Latin America. that was just a wow for me. And the Ovidius, or Avidas, or whatever his name is, the Roman poet, was talking about how May was for the ancestors, and that's what basically it means. And then you had the ritual in Japan. I mean, there's going to be more rituals using the black beans, but I didn't want to talk too much on that and find too much on that, because this was just a brief, quick video on this little theory about tying it Lemuria to Rome, to the Masons. And I believe I've done that. Some will believe it, some won't. And that's the prerogative of people who look at it, because they take what they want from the information. And we know the stability of people's minds these days. So that was just so interesting to me, to find that tie from Lemuria, the name change, to over to Today Dead, and the Japan one, and that was Setsuban. And the different rumours, well, different traditions in different households, that the head of the household, just like the Roman head of the household, did the beans. And then some of them have it now where the kids throw the beans at the father, who wore a demon mask. I mean, you have Jack and the Beanstalk, magic beans. I mean, what I didn't put in this video, because I didn't want it to go too much, was that Pythagoras, a myth, because no one can prove it, a story of how he died. He didn't want to stand on a field of beans that were growing, and he died because he got caught. He won't step on it. He believed the beans had the soul. And in various videos, I've showed you how he had a bean on one of his drawings that people made, and the Heka, the Egyptian magic that connects everything, has a bean above its head. And I showed that in previous videos, so I don't want to keep bringing too much back from other videos. I know I do that sometimes, but if you want to see them things, just, go check out my other videos. There's that many I make, and like I said, I try and cover different topics and just make things interesting. We're all in a time where doesn't matter if you define the lockdown, there's still things that you can't do because businesses and places are shut down. So, I try and make something fun and, informative. And this is the information I found. I've not made zero up. I've just looked into it, and this is what I've said. I thought, well, they match. So you then have Lemuria, that's supposedly named after the lemurs, because that's where they supposedly they came from. So it's lemurs, lemurs. And then the Freemasonry bit. I mean, when I looked into that, I was crazy, because I knew about the black ball, but I didn't know originally they used black beans. And black beans, the black dish in Day of the Dead in Mexico, and in the ritual in Rome, Lemuria. That can't be a coincidence. And black ball meaning you've been cast out, you're not allowed in, you've been, demonized, and you're not allowed to join the Freemasons. That does all tie together, and it's a wow to me, and hopefully it's something different and new, and you guys will appreciate the work that I've put in. You then have the lemurs at the centre of the story, Lemuria, and they have a black and white tail, just like the checkerboard floor of the Masons, black and white. Could that be nothing? It could well be, but it seems funny that we're talking about the ritual, the ballot of getting in, the black and the white beans, and now it's black and white balls. And then you have the black and white tail and the lemur of that connection. I thought it was a nice connection, and see what you guys think of that. So this wasn't a video showing you really, really in depth. This was just finding and something that didn't sit right with me, in the sense of, wow, the connection through the board from an island that people will believe in or not. This is not me saying it's true or false. This is just showing you information that I've found. And if you take to, bother to watch the video, you'll see. I'm not saying Lemuria is true. I'm not saying Atlantis is true or false. I have my own personal beliefs, and I try doing the video objectively, just showing the information I found. So the information I found on here was connecting Rome, Lemuria Festival on the 9, the 11 and the 13, which added to 33. And that was the other connection to the Masons, and how they use the Scottish Rite, the 32 and 33 levels. So is this the Masonics paying tribute because it's tied to the ancestors and the evil spirits, the Lemures, and there's other spirits that is connected with different festivals, but this is just for this video, and that's why they do the 33. Yes, we know about Jacob's Ladder, the crystal soil, and different things. I've done videos on 33, and I didn't want to go into 33 and show all the 33. Jesus died in 33, and all that. I wanted to put it together and think, could that be another reason why 33 is so revered? Because it's trying to banish or protect them from the demons, the ancestors. So that was just my thought, and I thought, yeah, you know what? That is a really good question to ask, whether you believe it or not. It fits in with this film, this video that I've made, and the dates itself, 9. I've just not long talked about 9, and we know all about 9, about human immortality, amongst other things, with it being divine. Obviously, it can turn it to be a 6. You have 11, which, as you can see from the pillars of Jachin and Boaz, and obviously I've talked a bit about Janus in my videos. That is his number, 11. The 2 pillars. You then have... oh, my train of thought has gone. You then have 13, and obviously that is associated with Knights Templar, whether you believe that story true. But, you know what I mean? Friday the 13th. On the 13th, those 3 numbers make 33. And I'm like, no way. So have all these links tying nicely. And everyone always says, I was always brought up on being told all roads lead to Rome. You know, the Jesuits and different Masonic entities and organisations. 33 so revered. 33 is the number of the festival days and tribute to the ancestors, and also to banish out the demons. Crazy. I just, I was like, no way. And then you have that little bit I talked about at the end about that event happened in September with the towers, and that was 9 and 11. Any coincidence? Then you have the day they opened the waves, the air back to the planes on the 13th. So the 3 numbers that is tied to this festival for the dead is 9, 11 and 13, and that ties into that event. Is that something? I just found that no freaking way, and I showed a few friends and they were like, no way. So you can see where I'm coming out with these days of festivals. Is there anything happened on these other days? And like I said, I could look into that, but that's taken away from the video. That's stretching and looking at. Maybe that it could be a part 2, 3, looking at these numbers together to see what we find. And I'm sure we'll find something, because I briefly looked and there's different types of events that happened. I just found it just a nice little, good little video to make people who, enjoy watching my content think a little. And that's just what it does. It's changing a whole little spin on why they revere 33, what happened to Lemuria. I mean, you're talking about languages. The word for water is mem for the Phoenicians and the Greek. And it looks like a wavy line. I've talked about how that looks like brain waves, memory. Are they trying to help us to forget or to remember their ancestors? Because if you go off that map I showed you, it shows you how, and that was from a famous artist at the time, a theatrical sketch. So if you're talking about mem and the island went below the waves, you think, well, it is a little bit of a stretch, that, Paul, because it's just talking about mem and it looks like water. But then you have the Greek alternate mem to mean mu, and it looked like a little tear. Are they paying homage again, trying to banish the demons or whatnot for Lemuria? Mu. And how that is like, it's bordering on where you can't say it's a coincidence, or it could just be how you look at things pareidolia. It could be that. I am honest to say about these things. Then you look at how the word mem had a little tail on it, and it resembles a lemur. And I'm like, really? Do I put that in? I don't know. I just thought that was too much to put in, guys. And then finally, you have, if you think about it, did it go under? Was it water? Is it tsunami? Or was it liquefaction? Did it just go under? And then you think about, well, if I put a D on the Mu, it's mud flood. And then if you look at some of the pictures for the Lemures, I didn't want to include it because it was just, like game pictures. So it wasn't like people's opinions, it was just in the game. So anyway, the pictures of the Lemures, the demons, looked like they just come out of a bog. They were dripping, it looked like mud. And you know what, I thought, wow, but you know what I mean, they were game sites. So I thought, I'm not going to put that in. It's not like an artist or anything, and it's people's opinion. It's just, for a game. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and it's only a short little video, what I can manage at the time. I'll be getting better soon. I'm not been doing many lives because I can't talk for hours. I can just do a few, little blocks, and I just want to get better soon. But this keeps my mind ticking, so I am still doing my little bit behind the scenes. And I just thank you guys for your support, your well wishes. Stay safe, always wear a smile, and just be good to each other. And hopefully, if you enjoyed this video, you'll recommend me to your friends and you'll share it. Bye guys, take care.